Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigation 2, Prosecutor's Gambit, where we're talking about the mistake on the coroner's report, which is an interesting idea that I hadn't thought of, which is, was it changed after the fact, or was it wrong to begin with? I think that's going to be interesting. There's no way there's a mistake in Grandma's report. Not never. I've been dealing with the dead longer than you've been alive, Sonny Jim. You writing something wrong is about as likely as... Ouch! What the heck do you think I'd stand to gain by doctoring a file, Don't make a lick of sense. And that's all she has to say. Nothing funky here. See, just as I thought, there's no chance the good doctor doctored her findings. You swear by the Holy Goddess that this testimony is true. Of course, Grandma's never told a lie in her...
Your opinions are not necessary, Nurse Needler. Your grandmother is the subject of this inquiry, not you.
Necessary? That's not fair. I'm the only ally poor Grandma has. Go ahead and shout objection left and right, but you best be prepared then, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. I'm more than prepared. I'm ready to expose the truth behind the error in the report.
Hold it!
Never. You're saying that Dr. Hertz is infallible.
She has to be. A doctor can't afford to make mistakes. Even a veteran like Grandma would be out of a job if she messed up even once. There's no way she of all people would. I had a whole hospital relying on me. Might be you can bungle your work and survive, mister, but I can't.
Hold it!
You've really never made a single mistake in all that time.
Doctrine's all about experience. The longer you've been at it, the better you get.
If only the same were true of prosecuting, the chairman winner would be the best in the business. But I think we can all agree that's not the case.
No, you really are a devil, Miles. But you're also quite wrong. I've never once made a mistake either. After all, I have people to do that for me. I'm too busy for follow-ups, and luckily for me, I don't have to make them. Isn't having people just grand? Aren't you trying to make doctrine and lawyer not sound the same? They ain't nothing alike. Nothing alike, I tell ya.
Hold it!
The victim appears to have put this raincoat on after sustaining the head injury, and yet there was not a single drop of blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, she must have been hit on the head before she was stabbed in the chest, making it pre-mortem.
That's... ouch. I don't need you to teach me how to suck eggs, young man. My dang report already says what you just said, don't it?
Nope. Your report states that the head injury appears to have been sustained post-mortem, which is the exact opposite of what I just said.
Oh. Sure. I diligently dictated that report to Florence here, and she wrote it all down just like I said it. Something happened to it after that, weren't nothing to do with me.
You dictated it. If you could please tell me more. Just so we're on the same page, what were your conclusions regarding the body?
Well, like I said, ouch, sorry, it was, death from a good hard knock to the noggin. Can you say for certain when that knock happened, Dr. Hertz? Pre-mortem, of course. Chest wound happened after the poor girl died. I told Florence that, and she wrote it right down, so that's what it says in my danged report. It may be what you told her, but I think we're finally getting to the truth. Hold on. Where is it?
Objection!
Yeah!
Dr. Hertz, I'd like you to take a look at the report for yourself.
I'll read it to... Ouch! This ain't what I said. This ain't what I said at all.
What? What do you mean exactly? Ooh!
I don't know. But I can't say that. Miss Needler, if you are attempting to bury Dr. Hertz's truth, I will gladly gladly hear her confession myself on behalf of the goddess of justice. Dr. Hurt seems to be telling Judge Gavel something in private. What? I see. Very well, allow me to relate to everyone what you have just told me. Ain't no doubt about what I said. I dictated my findings to Florence, just like I told you I did. The fuddle-headed young thing must have wrote it down wrong or something. Wow, that was a great impression. Yes, but was it really necessary?
As though in some area there is an error in the report. It was all because of you, Nurse Needler.
The facts have now been shown to be that the head injury occurred prior to the chest wound. Question now, Miss Needler, is why did you introduce such an error? Just a minute, Verity. You make it sound as if the poor girl did it deliberately. Whereas it seems to me, she just made a little mistake. Pre-mortem, post-mortem, they're practically the same word, don't you think?
Except they mean two completely opposite things. This was deliberate, no doubt about it.
But why would she want to change it? Exactly, thanks, ouch! Wait, that easy? Explain yourself, young lady. But Grandma,
You submitted a falsified report, an act that led to Kay being accused of murder. You owe us an explanation.
But I can't tell you. I don't want to, but can't. This is really rather unpleasant, don't you think? Ganging up on this poor, considerate girl who's only looking after her grandmother. She has nothing to do with anything. She simply made one tiny mistake. So why not leave it there?
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Because the only person her testimony would hurt is you.
What on earth do you mean, my boy? Seeing as you're now a de facto ex-prosecutor, you're going to need to explain yourself better than that.
I'd be happy to. I'll even spell it out for you. Nurse Needler's role in this crime was very important because...
she is a co-conspirator. Right, she's not the real victim, obviously. I don't think she's the murderer. That's got to be it.
And Nurse Needler doctored the report in order to cover for her accomplice.
Ouch! So she's a co-conspirator. This innocent young thing. Do show your grounds for making such a wild accusation, dear boy. The murder couldn't have been committed by one person working on their own. Without at least two people, it wouldn't have been possible to... I mean, you only need one person to doctor a report. You only need one person to maintain attendee numbers. Right? Because that's the next weird thing. Is... there was the murder and then the exact same number of people were there. So if there was an accomplice, that could fix it up. Plus the fact that everyone had a mask and a voice changer. I feel like this one is a little less straightforward because it could also, like, moving the, like... yeah, maintain attendee numbers is the only one that's, like, physically impossible.
If the auctioneer was the murderer and the victim was one of the attendees, the fact that a witness testified to there being 11 attendees after the murder doesn't make sense.
Hey, watch it, y'all gonna call my good word into question now, too?
That's not what I meant. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm taking you at your word, which means there must be a co-conspirator.
You know, it's hard, my boy, but sometimes you just have to accept that you were wrong.
I wasn't wrong, I just hadn't considered the possibility of the killer having an accomplice. But as soon as we do, things start to fall into place. If the killer's accomplice returned to the auction room in the place of the victim, there would indeed have been 11 attendees both before and after the murder.
He doesn't seem too bothered by that, actually. Oh well, so that's your thinking, is it? It's certainly an intriguing theory. Surely the imposter would have been spotted right away.
I don't imagine that Nurse Needler looks strikingly different from the victim in build and stature. With the help of a mask, she could very easily have replaced Miss Ringer without anybody noticing. Well, Miss Needler, is that what happened? Did you take the victim's place at the auction?
I wouldn't do something like...
Now tell us, the ringleader, who were they?
I can't tell you, I just can't. It hurt Grandma too. Ow! But Grandma... you worry about me, I can take it. You just tell me everything, child. But... Grandma! What just happened?
Miss Oya's right, she was an accomplice.
Miss Needler, why? Oh, Miss Needler. You explain yourself. Yes. Huh? Oh, thank you, Grandma, but I'm alright now. I confess it, I changed places with Miss Ringer.
So you admit that you were working with the ringleader?
Yeah. I was helping them. I don't know how, but he found out Miss Ringer was going to attack them. Albert was going to be attacked by the victim? Nope, that seems like a lie. I'm pretty sure it was going to happen that night, so they made a counter plan. They wanted to strike first, and they wanted me to help them. I was told to go to the storeroom before the auction began and wait there. Now hold right there, Missy. I didn't see nothing, and my eyes don't lie. If you'd have been there from the auction, I would have bumped right into you. I was there the whole way through, and you weren't there for a bit of it. But I'm not lying. Well, that's easy for you to say, but you were lying about altering that report only a few minutes ago. Wow!
Objection!
Considering that was on your orders.
I think we're all aware of the number of potential hiding places in that storeroom.
Are we? Where exactly are you trying to say our friend the nurse was hiding?
Nurse Needler hid here while she was waiting in the storeroom.
Is it the close box?
Take that!
She hid inside this clothes box.
Oh, she did she? Well, it was there the whole time, even before I moseyed on in. But like I done told you, I had all them chains around it. I wanted to hide in there myself, really, but it was locked up tight, so I had to go elsewhere.
I imagine it's because Nurse Needler was already lying in there by the time you arrived.
That's right, we didn't want anybody to open it, or it would have really blown our cover. So the ringleader told me to climb in and wait until it was time for my part of the plan. And then they wrapped the whole box up in chains. I think they took the elevator downstairs not so long after. It was just before the auction was due to start.
So as the auction was beginning, you and Miss Hart would have been the only people in the storeroom.
Yeah, I think so.
The auction proceeded as it always did, until a certain customer came upstairs to complete her purchase. That was when the incident occurred. Miss Hart overheard the victim and the culprit exchanging words around then.
You betcha I was behind that statue there shaking like a dang leaf the whole time.
In the middle of their quarrel, Miss Ringer was killed by the auctioneer. I imagine that the auctioneer then carried Miss Ringer's body over to the clothes box, from which Nurse Needler emerged and swapped places with the victim. After placing Miss Ringer's body inside the box, Nurse Needler's role was not to pretend to be Miss Ringer. The two of them then returned to the room below as if nothing had happened. Does that about sum up what happened in the storeroom, Nurse Needler?
Yes, in fact, that's exactly what happened. Hold up, so you just waltzed right back in, on in, and nobody noticed? This is two completely different people we're talking about. You're telling me not one of them other folks down there at the auction cotton down?
Why would they? The other auction goers had no reason to notice the difference when Nurse Needler entered because
she had stolen the victim's clothes.
as we've seen, Miss Ringer and Nurse Needler are about the same build. What's more, the auction rules required attendees to wear their masks at all times. If Nurse Needler were wearing the same clothes as Miss Ringer, nobody would have been any the wiser.
No, they weren't. I borrowed Miss Ringer's clothes and ouch! And left the poor child in her smalls? Have you no respect, girl? No, Grandma, I thought the same thing. It wouldn't be nice to leave her like that. So when the ringleader wasn't working, I put that raincoat on her. So that's how Miss Ringer came to be wearing it.
Thus, the auction was able to carry on as before.
I guess the part where I caught the red raincoat on film came just after. Yeah, it must be. Then it all makes sense. Right after that was when I went on over and looked downstairs through the gap in the elevator. Spied me 11 happy little auction goers, then back snuck to my little hidey hole.
Don't tell me you were hiding back there the entire time after that.
Well, that is, not exactly.
What is it? Did something happen?
So maybe I ought to mention this before, but, I fell asleep for a few winks after that. Well, passed out unconscious, you might say.
What? What happened?
Oh, nothing much. Kind of silly, really, but there was a sudden loud noise, and it startled me just a little bit, you know? Alright, maybe more than a little, but I just witnessed a murder. Can't blame a girl for getting jumpy. I guess that got my heart shook and my head faint. Before I knew it, I was out like a light. By the time I came to, I was in the dang day. It was the next dang day. And there y'all were, clanking down that ladder.
I see, so you were startled by a loud noise and fell unconscious. I suppose that means you don't know what happened after that.
Not per se, but, well, after the auction was over, all the masks were back on the rack. So I reckon the guests all finished up and filed out one by one like they was supposed to.
Nurse Needler, once the auction ever started, what exactly were you doing?
I was pretending to be Miss Ringer and placing bids just as the ringleader wanted. I had to win the clothes box as I'd been instructed. It had a dead body inside after all. I imagine if somebody else had won it, we would have been in real trouble then.
So you had no idea that the victim had vacated the box in the meantime?
No, not until we came back up so I could pay for it. That was when we noticed. Ringleader told me to go look for her right away. Except I found some other girl collapsed at the foot of the ladder instead.
Okay.
Yes, she must have fallen from up on the roof and been knocked unconscious. Guess the victim must have left that hatch wide open, huh?
That would explain it. Kay would have been so shocked by seeing Miss Ringer fall motionless right in front of her that she wouldn't have seen the open hatch and fallen right through it. That explains the noise that caused you to faint as well, Miss Hart. It was the sound of Kay crash landing onto the storeroom floor.
Yeah, I suppose. Can't believe something like that don't knock me out for so long, though.
So in summary, by the time Miss Needler found Kay, you were already sound asleep behind the statue. I think we've had a good grasp on what occurred up to this point now. Nurse Needler, if you would continue.
Sure, so I found Kay, and next I found Miss Ringer. I put them both in the clothes box. We couldn't risk any of the auction goers seeing them, so that would have caused a real hullabaloo.
Was that your idea or the ringleader's?
Theirs. Putting the raincoat on Miss Ringer was my own idea, so I tried to get rid of it before they found out what I'd done.
I imagine they were none too pleased when it showed up as a surprise piece of evidence in this case.
And lastly, the ringleader and I put her in the auctioneer's outfit we'd prepared.
Of course, which completed the deception and made everyone think she was the auctioneer.
All in all, the auction finished up without anybody noticing anything. And that was that.
Now that we know the extent of your crimes, Nurse Needler, if you have anything further to share, I'd advise you to do so immediately.
I wish I could tell you more, but I'm sorry, that's all I know. Oh, and except for one other thing. It seemed a little strange, I guess. When I was borrowing Miss Ringer's clothes, I took everything I could, but I couldn't take her hair, obviously, so ouch! Being right, you couldn't take her hair. What kind of medical professional are you?
That's where you drawing the line? So taking her clothes was okay?
Her hair was totally different, the style, the length, everything. I kind of panicked. The ringleader thought of everything, including wigs. 2 of them, in fact. There was a straight one and a wavy one. They were both stashed in the clothes box.
The 2 wigs, but why?
Right, I wondered that too. Thought maybe they were worried she might have changed up her style. Anyway, I took the straight one. That was the one that matched her hair on that day.
Leaving a wavy wig in the box. She swapped places with Rosie Ringer.
That's everything you know. There's nothing else you're forgetting.
No, huh? No, really, Grandma, that's everything.
I take it you really have no idea who the ringleader might be.
Sorry, I only know that they were in charge of the auction. I didn't see them without their mask on, and they were pretty careful to keep their identity a secret from everyone.
We can get something concrete on them. Well, Miles, are we about done? We've proven the nurse was part of the murder plot, but sadly for you, it doesn't change a whole lot, because it does nothing to prove that Kay Faraday isn't the ringleader. Justice must prevail. We can't change the law, even for your sake. Is this it? Am I not going to be able to save Kay?
Objection!
Oh!
Francisco, what are you doing here?
As I told you before, Miles Edgeworth, where the case leads, I follow. Your dedication is an inspiration to us all. But don't go getting the wrong idea, little brother. I'm only here to deliver the truth regarding the suspect. I'm certainly not here to forgive you. We're abandoning the way of the prosecutor.
I understand that.
You should thank your former subordinate for what I'm about to share. For in his desperation to help Kay Faraday, he gave me a valuable piece of information.
Detective Gumshoe did that?
Bear yourself, Miles Edgeworth. The final piece of the puzzle. Rosie Ringer's head wound was the first of the injuries she suffered, not the second. Thanks! Well, someone say something.
Yes, there's no easy way to say this, Francisco, but, we already proved that ourselves.
You what?
Yes, just a few minutes ago. Oh!
Why didn't you say so sooner? You didn't exactly give us a chance. And I suppose you know about the murder weapon too. Wait, no!
No, not yet.
Huh, good. Then listen up. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt object bearing a circular surface. The wound to the chest was actually inflicted post-mortem. Circular surface.
You're certain of that, I assume? Your sources are above board?
Two trusted medical professionals reached the same conclusion independently. You couldn't ask for more.
It's certainly good to know. Unfortunately, you're overstepping the bounds of...
Of what? I'm the prosecutor in charge of Interpol's investigation into the underground auction. And this murder occurred during that auction. It would be negligent of me not to pursue leads pertaining to the related parties. Especially the victim.
My, you've really become quite the force to be reckoned with, haven't you, my dear?
All parties are in agreement. The victim died from a blow to the head. Chest wounds inflicted post-mortem, yeah. Sadly, the murder weapon itself has yet to be identified.
Based on the shape, I might have an idea or two.
Oh, but guys, I didn't turn up any other weapon during my investigation.
And yet, one need only think about the setting in an auctioneer's tools and the answer should be obvious, yep. Not just the circular surface used in an auction. We're obviously talking about
the auctioneer's hammer.
what would an auctioneer have readily at hand. An auctioneer's hammer, of course.
But we never found one of those. If the auctioneer was indeed the killer, it does seem like a likely candidate for a murder weapon. But with the evidence to support your theory, it remains nothing more than that.
No, I have just the evidence you need right here. This piece of evidence strongly suggests that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon.
Where's the thing? Sound of the auctioneer's hammer can no longer be heard, yeah!
Take that!
Miss Hart told us something very important about the auction after the murder occurred. She said the very prominent sound of the auctioneer's hammer could no longer be heard. No, why would that be? I'll tell you why. Because it had just been used in a murder and was covered in the victim's blood. It would need to be disposed of. Isn't that right, Chairman Winner?
I'll have one of our people look into this right away.
You really are like a dog with a bone, aren't you, dear boy? But if you can't dedicate yourself to a cause when you're young, when can you?
He seems very confident we'll never find it. Very well. A search for the murder weapon will be conducted. In the meantime, this court is in recess.
To be continued!
Yes, okay. So we'll pick this up in the next episode. I have a feeling. Are we closing in on the end of this game here? Take down the chairman and all his corruption and save the prosecutor. I don't want to guild, not guild. Whatever. Our collection of prosecutorial idiots. That's what they are now. Anyway, I hope you're all still enjoying this. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.